Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Tabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And we see them in today. We have a very interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Charles Tabansi. My handle is CTABANZ. If you want to follow DREAMERSPRO on Instagram, same name as the channel, DREAMERSPRO. And if you want our full show before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We have that pinned in the comment section below. Now let me get into this topic. Here. I came across an article not too long ago, and it is from the website Front Office Sports. This article was actually published today on December 12th by Michael McCarthy, and the headline said the following: First Take is owning the ratings battle with Undisputed. And I said, okay, I got to read this article. This is something that we definitely got to touch on because these type of topics are quite appealing to our audience, including myself. So I said, there's no way we're going to pass up an opportunity to talk about it. So this is the main thing that I want to focus on. First of all, before we even get into this article, as you guys know, ESPN First Take was always winning the battle of that time slot in the morning, and Stephen A. Smith takes every single opportunity to remind us of this fact. Now, they had some competition to an extent when Shannon Sharpe was with Undisputed. Undisputed was bringing in around 170,000 viewers a day. ESPN First Take was bringing around 3 times the audience, 300,000 to 400,000 viewers daily. And then what happened? Shannon Sharpe leaves the show. They take a dip, and then ESPN First Take then goes on to receive a significant bump, especially on days in which Shannon Sharpe is there, which are Mondays and Tuesdays, right? And we've done various shows covering that. So that's really the backdrop. I thought it was important for us to kind of give that context so people understand that. So I really want to get into this article, the meat and potatoes of it. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by our sponsor, Aura. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/DREAMERSPRO. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into this article here. It continues on to say, Skip Bayless recently started a commercial for Undisputed shot in actual cemetery, which may be a metaphor for the dying competition between his show and the rival Stephen A. Smith First Take. Over the summer, the dueling morning programs revamped their casts and formats before the NFL season, each intending to become the leading embrace debate show on morning TV. FS1 Undisputed hired a trio of retired NFL players, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, and Richard Sherman. In return, Smith personally recruited Bayless's ex-sparring partner, Shannon Sharpe, to join him and Molly Karam on ESPN's First Take. With more than 3 months of head-to-head competition between the reshuffled weekly shows, the verdict is in. It's Smith by a technical knockout. From September to November, First Take averaged 554,000 viewers compared to 120,000 for Undisputed. During the 2 weeks from November 27 to December 8th, First Take averaged or drew 581,000 in comparison to 105,000 according to sources. In fact, November ranked as the most watched month, 614,000 in the 16-year history of First Take. The article then goes on to say a few other things. ESPN First Take has maintained its #1 ranking since Undisputed debuted in 2016. Even if the 56-year-old Smith leaves the show for late night TV, entertainment, or politics, Sharp vowed First Take will remain #1. Y'all know y'all not going to be better than me and Stephen A. That's not going to happen. I promise you. That is not going to happen ever. Sharp warned his competitors at FS1. Now, if Stephen A. Smith says, Shannon, I want to go in a different direction, you are still not going to beat us, because Stephen A. is that dude. If Stephen A. ever decided to leave and turn the reins over to me, y'all know that I'm that dude. I'm him. Now, the problem y'all got is y'all got two hims to go up against. But don't count out Bayless. A 72-year-old has had more journalistic lives than a cat. Love him or hate him, he's still the godfather of embrace debate. Both Smith and Sharp can partially thank him for their career success. So you heard what the article had to say there. Here are my thoughts. This doesn't surprise me. There was a recent article that was published, I believe it was by Complex, if I'm not mistaken, that ranked some of the top personalities in sports media. Two of them are on ESPN First Take. #1 is Shannon Sharp. #2 is Stephen A. Smith. And that means that ESPN First Take is a legitimate powerhouse. There are no two ways to slice it. #1, I think that, well, at least in the past, I thought this for a fact, that ESPN First Take had more interesting topics. This is just my personal view. Even when Shannon Sharp was there, this was something I always lamented about. Undisputed got to the point where it was either going to be the Cowboys, Tom Brady, LeBron James, or the Lakers, and then they'll sprinkle in a few other topics. Whereas on ESPN First Take, I thought they had a broader range of topics. The fact that they had a rotating panel kept things fresh when you have Kendrick Perkins, JJ Redick, Jay Williams, and so many other contributors that would come in different days, Tim Legler, and others. And they seem to have mastered that formula, although it was something that Skip Bayless perfected at the time. Stephen A. Smith has now taken it to a different level. But I also think it's worth noting that Stephen A. Smith has a competitive advantage because he is on the bigger platform. Right? People have more access. Although they say that FS1 is in more households than ESPN First Take, I don't even know. I don't know what to think of those numbers. So there's that aspect of it. So you have two powerhouse personalities kind of at the helm of that show. You have interesting guests that come in. JJ Redick came in. He brought in his own audience. So certain days you see they bring in Pat McAfee. He has his own audience, although they don't bring in the same numbers that Shannon Sharp does. And I don't see this really changing moving into the future. I really don't see it changing. I don't see it changing. Now, the Undisputed cast is finally beginning to kind of, settle in on me, and I'm now starting to kind of get used to it. At first, it was a little bit awkward. I still think that they're there, that they're currently experimenting at ESPN, because at a certain point you saw Rachel Nichols, at a certain point you saw John Sally, at a certain point you saw Paul Pierce, and you don't see them anymore. And in some certain segments it's Skip Bayless and Richard Sherman, then it's Keyshawn Johnson, so it is Michael Irvin. So I still think that they're in the experimental phase, but in terms of the battle, I think the article is 100% on the money in terms of the actual facts. It's alluding to in terms of the data. Yes, ESPN is dominating. ESPN is dominating this competition, and I think it's going to continue to go that way. These are just my thoughts. So what I want to know from you guys, do you think ESPN will continue to dominate Undisputed? And do you ever see a world where Undisputed and FS1 may surpass ESPN? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show.